Hey there. How about tricks and treats for National Football League fans and fantasy owners? Unlike Major League Baseball or the National Hockey League, the trade deadline in the NFL normally comes and goes without any fanfare whatsoever. However, it was quite different on this Halloween 2017, as teams were swapping players for picks like it was going out of style. And the deals changed the fantasy landscape quite dramatically. While I never refer to myself as an expert, I am in several expert leagues and multiple seasonal leagues for money. It takes me several minutes each week to make my waiver claims, but today it took at least an hour to get everything together. The most surprising deal at the deadline might have been the Carolina Panthers dealing Kelvin Benjamin to the Buffalo Bills for a 3rd and 7th round pick in 2018. The deal was announced right under the deadline, and it was a big shock. The Panthers traded the only player to catch a touchdown for them in Week 8 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Head coach Sean McDermott and general manager Brandon B know Benjamin well from their days with the Panthers, and he will immediately take over as the team's number one receiver. Buffalo desperately needed a number one receiver after dealing Sammy Watkins in the preseason, and Jordan Matthews hasn't been the answer, while Zay Jones is clearly not ready. Editor's note: looking for a weekly edge in your fantasy leagues? Get the Roto World Season Pass for projections, early week rankings, WR&RB reports, exclusive columns and chats with our experts, and much more for just $19.99. Benjamin posted 32 receptions for 475 yards and 2 touchdowns in 8 games with the Panthers, including 6 grabs for 77 yards in Week 2 against the Bills. He was really starting to get into a groove with Cam Newton, connecting with his quarterback for at least 3 receptions in each of the past 5 games. Now, number 13 will need to learn the intricacies of the Buffalo offense and adjust to a new quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. As for Matthews, he'll remain in the slot, while Jones will work as the Z receiver. Benjamin will take a bit of a hit from a fantasy perspective, at least initially, while he adjusts to his new team. The move is good news for Tyrod Taylor, who gets another top-notch receiver. He hasn't had a dependable target since Charles Clay went down with a knee injury a few weeks back. While McDermott has said Clay will have a difficult time making it back for Thursday's game against the New York Jets, he appears to be making progress and could return for Week 10 against the New Orleans Saints in a very favorable matchup. That might be the matchup where Benjamin makes his first meaningful contributions, as he obviously knows the Saints well from his days with the Panthers. With Benjamin moving to Buffalo, Devin Funchess is expected to slide up to the number one receiver job. He had difficulty with drops in his rookie season, but he has been much better this season. Fun has posted at least 2 catches in each of his 8 outings, while going for 4 or more catches in 6 of the past 7. Fantasy owners in PPR leagues were already in on Funchess, who has been targeted at least 6 times in 7 straight outings. However, he'll be worth using as a WR3 in standard fantasy formats as well now that he sits atop the depth chart without any real challengers to his new spot. The biggest loser in this trade might just be Cam Newton. He hasn't exactly worked with the cream of the crop as far as receivers were concerned. He has been without Greg Olsen due to a foot injury, and the veteran is targeting Week 12 for a return from the reserve injured, designated to return list. So Newton will have to make do with Funchess, Ed Dixon, Curtis Samuel, Russell Shepard, Damiere Byrd, Kalen Clay and Charles Johnson. That's not exactly a who's who of receivers. Of course, the Panthers went to Super Bowl 50 after winning 15 regular season games with Benjamin on the sidelines, so Newton has pulled rabbits out of a hat before. All about that, Jay. The rich got richer on Tuesday afternoon when the 7-1 Philadelphia Eagles acquired Ajayi from the Miami Dolphins for picks. The move might be great news for Ajayi, who was spinning his wheels in Miami. While the Dolphins were 4-3, they weren't seriously contenders, especially with an ultra-difficult schedule in the second half awaiting them. Ajayi moves to Philly, where it will take time for him to adjust, but he will eventually take over and supplant LeGarrette Blount as the top dog in the backfield behind a decent offensive line.